I'm heading down.
I've spent a lifetime trying to uncover the secrets of this world. Where the machines came from. How the old ones achieved such marvels only to fall into silence and death. A lifetime of failure. As year by year, decade after decade, I hit walls I could not break, doors I could never breach.
Hello.
Until a Nora huntress marched out of the savage east. And voila, for her, all the deepest secrets of the earth were laid bare. I suspect you'll have an easier time with this door than I did years ago.
Let's hope.
Hold for identiscan. Genetic profile confirmed. Entry authorized. Malfunction. 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 Malfunction.
Are you kidding me?
You don't hear me laughing.
Shut up. There's gotta be another way. Hey! Elizabeth Sobeck here! Requesting access!
Access request acknowledged. Root command functions available.
Oh, okay,
Do
now
you
she's
wish
getting
to
clever.
proceed?
I do! Get me through this door!
Analyzing. Primary access inoperable due to mechanical failure. Emergency venting procedure likely to circumvent blockage. Do you wish to proceed?
Yes.
Okay.
Emergency venting authorized.
I underestimated you. I think by now
Uh-oh.
Guess you can't have everything.
that will draw attention. We won't have this place to ourselves for long now.
We? Last I checked, I was the one risking my life down here.
Yes, fine. Now will you please get moving? There's so much to learn in less time than I'd hoped.
Oh, Silence is now worried about this. Okay. Do we have a timer? Do we actually have a timer or not? Okay. I'm not gonna stealth until I
Welcome
need
to
it.
Project Zero Dawn.
Okay.
Zero Dawn. We found it.
Are you really so surprised?
Yes, kind of.
Facility diagnostics detect multiple failures. Attempting repair.
So, what was this room?
An entrance hall, perhaps. Have a look around.
Oh, I'm already way ahead of you, Silence. Another incident. Male lounge staff. Okay. Let's see. From lounge staff to admin. Subject. Another incident. This morning's unfortunate incident with Dr. Popovich is another example of reception's need for additional support. We appreciate that Zero Dawn is an immensely complicated project, but as the staff who serve on the front line, we're tired of being neglected. As we have already requested, we need human translators fluent in Polish, for example, security staff who can subdue enraged embryologists, for example, and dermal sedatives to calm persons who are screaming in Polish while hurling chairs and vases at reception staff, for example. Yes, most of the candidates are reasonably calm and well behaved, but we need help handling the exceptions to that rule. Please respond. Okay. I guess that's the whole alpha and beta candidates and how Sobeck said that some of them would be corporate interests and extra nationals, and the general said pretty much, "Don't worry, we'll handle it." They were straight up kidnapping people. Okay. Blast door heavily shielded.
Please take a seat and wait for your name to be called. A selection of beverages and snacks are available.
You sure?
Smaller room.
Because I've got a feeling that any beverages or snacks that are here are no longer safe for me to eat. But yeah, this is a much smaller room. Comfy room, though.
Please proceed into viewing room 1 for an important message regarding the purpose of your visit.
Okay, no, that's not happening. We've got many things to scan first. Soundproofing. Lounge staff. Okay. Thank you so much in chat, by the way, for just the reminders about spoilers and things like that. I really do appreciate that. Would it be possible to improve the soundproofing between VR1 and the lounge area? Most of the candidates stay quiet during the presentation, but the ones who scream or sob can plainly be heard by candidates waiting their turn in the lounge. Just a thought. Okay. What are we going to find in viewing room 1? Oh, this is interesting. Male lounge staff, restock or else. For the 5th time, please restock the lounge selection of herbal teas. If I have to listen to one more egghead throw a tantrum because we're out of organic cucumber, mint, or blackberry sage variants, varietal, sorry, I am going to lose it. Please respond, and this time, no tempest in a teapot or steep demand jokes, okay? Okay. Sorry, but that is funny. Can't say it isn't. So whatever it seems that Zero Dawn is, people were upset about it. But that just supports the theory that it's, again, the help cure worse than the disease sort of thing. That it's going to be pretty heavy, whatever it is.
What was this place?
A holographic theater.
CD01 data intact. Initiating playback.
Okay. Oh, a proper cutscene. Okay.
Welcome to Project Zero Dawn. I am General Harris, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States of America. I'm sure you've heard the rumors that Zero Dawn is a top-secret super-weapons program, the technological miracle that will save us from the Pharaoh Plague, if Operation Enduring Victory can hold off the robots long enough. The reason I'm sure you've heard the rumors is that I'm the one who spread them.
Oh.
And they are all lies. Zero Dawn is not a super-weapons program.
What is it then?
It will not save us. Nothing will save us. And here's why. By the time the glitch was noticed, it was already too late. Nothing could stop the Pharaoh Plague. Nothing can. Its robots will continue to replicate and devour the biosphere. Life on Earth will be destroyed. Our planet reduced to a barren sphere. Global extinction is inevitable.
Ark ship, maybe?
No matter how many we kill, the robots just keep exponentially making more. If we had their deactivation codes, we could shut them all down. The entire swarm. But since their cryptographic protocols use polyphasic entangled waveforms, cracking a code set would take half a century. At best, we've got 16 months. Not exactly what you'd call a survival option. The destruction of a biosphere is not the sort of apocalypse you can wait out in a fallout shelter or a space station. There will be no Earth left to reclaim. Just a lifeless, toxic rock with several million Pharaoh robots on it, hibernating, waiting for something to eat. This is the horrible truth behind the lies of Operation Enduring Victory.
So you've ruled out Ark ship.
Lies designed to inspire millions of innocents
Ark
to
space
sacrifice
station.
themselves in battle. Why? One reason. To buy time for you and the work you will do here. Zero Day, the day that life on Earth ceases to exist, is coming fast. It cannot be stopped. The hope of Zero Dawn is that something new might come after. But I will leave it to Elizabeth Sobek to shine that thin ray of light into the darkness. Harris, out.
Okay, well that's mixed apart.
That doesn't make sense. Life on Earth didn't cease to exist.
He said it could not be stopped.
But it was. Somehow Elizabeth
Not
saved us.
necessarily.
I've got to keep looking. Find out how she did it.
Okay, so it's not something that can be waited out. Half a century to deactivate all the swarm. Honestly, it's possible they could make something that would keep some people alive for half a century, even in orbit, but enough to have a viable human population. I mean, we've seen like the variance in people here is way too diverse to have come from a tiny population. There'd be too many similarities. Something new could come after. So okay, so working theory, life was wiped out. If it was going to take 50 years for them to be able to shut down the swarm, and yet the swarm was going to have eaten all biomass on the planet within about a year, well, 16 months, then the swarm did eat all of the biomass on the planet, and that includes every living organism that was on it. So what shut them down? That would have to be an automated system. Something that was designed to continue working on the problem after, because if it's only eating biomass, then that isn't to say that some sort of automated station in orbit couldn't finish doing the work. So you could have an automated system which could then reseed life, but that's kind of a bit of a stretch, because this life is basically Earth again. As if it... I mean, that isn't too outside the realms of hard science if you've got literal seeds, embryos, enough biodiversity, because you can store immense amounts of sperm, egg cells. You could, assuming they had sufficient cryogenics technology, or some way to keep them viable over a long period of time, because, you know, freezing isn't necessarily the best way to go. You could store enormous amounts of seeds. You could reseed the Earth, but that's going to be a much more complicated problem. It's not just going to be a simple case of, yeah, everything's dead, just plonk down some new seeds, boom, there we go, a forest. No, if all the because everything is tangled together in a system like this. So you wipe out all the biomass on the planet, the atmosphere is going to be gone. Or it's going to be incredibly inhospitable. If you reduce Earth back to just a barren rock, there were a very, very specific set of circumstances that made life viable on Earth, much less triggered the random sequences of amino acids to combine to create life. You would have to very painstakingly restore a balance that, I mean, I guess perhaps with their level of technology, they understood exactly what happened to create a life on Earth, and maybe it was a bit easier. But still, that would be a very, very big thing to do, and it's still just rolling a dice, because unless you had some system to oversee problems, then it would be this has thrown everything out of the window. But yeah, okay, my kind of arc ship then still, but just not an arc ship where there are people on it, but an arc ship where the proto people are there. Vanya, amused by the fact that Aavak Aloy is literally pacing while I thought. Yes, that is actually how I think. And so yes, that's what I was doing again. I didn't even think about that. Yes, so, this is amazing. I'm so glad that this has thrown another thing to figure out.
Got in.
Damn it.
Through the vents.
Fair enough.
Let nothing stop you from learning the truth.
Spread out! If it moves, kill it!
What is this place? Tomb?
Let me up. Might not go up. Let me up. There is something up there that I am apparently meant to be able to jump onto. There we go. And down. Shh, no. Let's have everyone. One. Okay, you've got a heavy weapon. That would be great at killing all of the castles. Two. But yeah, the theory crafting begins. I was starting to get very confident about where my theory was. Although it was kind of loose on details, I was fairly certain that the kind of primary points were pretty solid. But this has thrown a lot of that out. Okay. Can I get a death from above on you? Yes, I could. Where's the others? Kind of all over the place. You know what? One. Lots of things down here. How am I going to get to you?
The girl doesn't falter here, neither should you. Move.
You going to stick your head out? No. Kind of walking back and forth. Okay. Well, I'm going to come to you then. You're not coming to me, I'm coming to you. Shh now. I need to make noise. Silliness. Hello. Don't mind me.
She went that way.
She did, in fact, go that way.
We're too close to
As it
the
happens.
to stop us now. The data points. What do they contain?
I will have a look in just a moment. Okay, I'm going to pause the game for just a moment. Have a look at the map a bit. Okay, so we came in through there. Or did we come in? Oh no, we came in from here. Oh, okay, so it's a fairly large map. Right. Okay. I do apologize, by the way, peeps in chat. My brain is just awash with theories right now, so I am missing lots of things being said. I'm not ignoring you intentionally, I swear. Okay, let's have a look at all these data points then. I noticed there were loads down here. Okay, interview. Tom Peach. Video recording. Candidate interview. PhD. Molecular and cellular biology. Okay. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Damn it. Alright. I'll have to look at it again.
It is accurate, yes.
So these mechanical monstrosities, they don't just kill people. They feed off them?
Not just people. All organic matter.
Every living thing dissolved into nutrients. Millennia of evolution liquefied. The miracle of life reduced to bloody biofuel.
Yeah, pretty
In
much.
a word, yes.
Who did this? Pharaoh? That arsehole. Is he here?
No, Doctor.
Please, tell him Tom Pake wants a word. Now, get off! Get off!
Uh-oh.
Doctor, please, you get Ted Pharaoh in here!
I mean, it's not that unreasonable of a response, honestly, let's be honest. An interview. Data security consultant. Travis Tate.
Want to discuss? Whew. So, Mama, she was right.
Pardon?
My mother, she took her Bible real serious. Not just Texas Bible serious, Pentecostal serious. Favorite chapter? Revelations. Now, I didn't always understand her on account of all that speaking in tongues and such, but when she did use her words, it was always end times this and lake of fire that on account of sinful lifestyles. Speaking of which, mind if I smoke?
A tobacco cigarette.
Sorry, darling. My taste run classic. Compliments to your team tracked me down. Been a price on my head 18 months now. Sterling Malky was me, don't mind admitting. Been plenty of snakesters chasing the bounty, too. But I kept the zigging to their zag. How'd you finger me?
I believe Dr. Sobek listed you as an alpha candidate. Priority snatch and grab.
Oh, so
Always
you were an
suspected
important
you
one.
had a little thing for me. Hey, I don't suppose you got real coffee in this place? You know, blood coffee?
Blood coffee? What?
Conflict cappuccinos?
Mr. Tate, I'm clearing you to proceed. Just go.
Sounds like the interviewer was like, yeah, no. I probably need to ask you a lot. No, I don't care. Just get out. I don't want you. No, please leave. I'm done with you. Brad Andak. Candidate review. Formerly of Faro Automated Systems.
Previously worked for Faro Automated Systems.
On the chariot line self-replication routines? I came here thinking this was a rendition. When your people took me, I thought, about time. I've been
Oh,
trying
you
to
actually worked on it.
swallow the guilt every day since
Would you like to take a moment?
No, I really hoped Zero Dawn was a way to undo it all. My work. And I'm sorry to say I was ever proud of it, but Ted could really sell a concept, and in the labs, in the light of creation, that first test run, when you saw they understood their own structures, could rebuild themselves from memory and light, there were no limits. God, there were no limits.
That was the problem. Well, that must be a hell of a thing. To be faced with the fact that you built the death machines. Actually, was there anything to read up here? There may have been. I was kind of focused on the Kaja. Yes, there are. Interview Dr. Suve, art, PhD, Art History and Museum Studies. I need to rescan.
I think there is some mistake. I don't understand why I was brought here. Why would you show me these things?
I know that there's already a lot to take in.
In the waiting area, I was seated with a Nobel laureate in biophysics and a monk, I think. He spoke neither English nor Mandarin. It is very strange. And General Harris? What was he talking about? The robot swarm, the pharaoh plague? I understand it is terrible, but it really cannot be stopped? Why tell us this? There are people in Shanghai, my friends, my family. They have joined Operation Enduring Victory already. It is for nothing? We will all die?
We're going to be able to answer some of these questions.
I just want to know why I am here. It doesn't make sense to me.
You were brought here because of your skill set.
No, that can't be right. I am an art historian. I know Dutch masters, Japanese calligraphy, Gerhard Richter. What does that matter now?
Okay, that is actually a reasonable question. Why? I mean, I can understand like a biophysicist. I can understand an engineer. Unless, well, actually, no. Wait, we miss a really obvious thing. We're all like all of the characters here are talking English, and it doesn't seem like that's just a contrivance, just a timey-wimey, hand-wavy to make the game playable kind of thing. Hades, that name again, that's even more important. These things are from the old world. Like a lot of understanding, a lot of things are gone, but a lot of words and names we're still using. What was it that Silence said? He used it wasn't c'est la vie. It was something else. It was like a phrase, but it was a phrase in a different language from English. If you just stored the embryos, if you just stored seeds, well, yeah, sure, fine. If you manage to somehow birth a human fully, you might have artificial. That's another good point. You would need artificial wombs for that, but you just have a bunch of children. What would you expect them to do? You'd need some, like, we rely on our parents to learn, and our peers, and social structures and tribes to gather information. We're literally born half-baked. It takes over a decade for our brain to fully mature, and much longer than that for it to be filled with enough knowledge that we can function, to the sort of height that we do. The first generation, if you just had a reseeded Earth, would have none of that. So what would they do? So an art historian, you would need to preserve knowledge, not just... You would need to preserve all sorts of things, not just life itself. You would need to preserve the knowledge that would allow life to continue to flourish. But then why is... Clearly they understand a lot of stuff. They understand language, for example, but there's already projects in our time, in the real world, where we are storing information and technologies. Random things have been tossed around with this kind of primitive people with access to this information could be building their own nuclear reactors in like less than 2 decades, all that kind of stuff. If something like that was used for Zero Dawn, why are the Nora so primitive? Why are the Sundom so primitive by comparison? Why do we not have any knowledge of our own history? Now this is super interesting. Also, hello! I almost did not see you. Hello? Where is this going? I better not be skipping. Fire Striker, is this? Oh no, this is in the room that I just came from. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't actually going the right way and somehow about to lock myself out of a bunch of stuff. Okay. How do we know it's proper English everyone is speaking? That is true. That is true. Like I said, it doesn't seem like it's a contrivance of the game, but I couldn't tell you. There is another tunnel in there, yes, but I want to make sure I grab all of this first. Interview Suzanne Alpert, PhD, Environmental Reclamation.
With Suzanne Alpert, environmental scientist. Doctor?
I'm sorry, I wasn't,
Just stating your name. What were you thinking about, Doctor?
Nothing the General said, not really. I was on the Syzygy East Response Team in 2051, just after the second earthquake compromised the reactor. I still dream about it, after all these years. The red zone spreading on the imaging, slowly, so slowly, like a hand opening its fingers.
Your involvement in that event is why you were asked for by name.
Really? That's interesting. Because nothing worked. Nothing could grow there again. It was a catastrophic failure. But the red zone is a blip compared to global-scale biomass reduction. The biosphere and hydrosphere will collapse, render the Earth uninhabitable long before the robots finish us. Enduring victory can't buy time against that. So, you'd better show me what Zero Dawn really is.
And yeah, that's a good point. We have recordings from the past and we are able to understand them, and the recordings are in English. Certainly the text recordings. The text would be in English. Oh no, Twitch seems to be twitching. I'll wait for people to let me know in chat, because this is a pretty interesting part. Can we play her message again? People in chat missed it. By all means, not a problem at all.
With Suzanne Alpert, environmental scientist. Doctor?
I'm sorry, I wasn't,
Just stating your name. What were you thinking about, Doctor?
Nothing the General said, not really. I was on the Syzygy East Response Team in 2051, just after the second earthquake compromised the reactor. I still dream about it, after all these years. The red zone spreading on the imaging, slowly, so slowly, like a hand opening its fingers.
Your involvement in that event is why you were asked for by name.
Really? That's interesting. Because nothing worked. Nothing could grow there again. It was a catastrophic failure. But the red zone is a blip compared to global-scale biomass reduction. The biosphere and hydrosphere will collapse, render the Earth uninhabitable long before the robots finish us. Enduring victory can't buy time against that. So, you'd better show me what Zero Dawn really is.
Okay, hopefully everyone is caught up again now in on Twitch. But yeah, this is really, really interesting. Next up, we've got text log, data corruption partial. I love you. For debriefing after presentation 1, candidates must be allowed to ask questions and be given the necessary time to fully absorb the information they have received. It is important to be aware that candidates have just been exposed to triggers for severe mental and emotional trauma. Do not assume silence or outward calmness indicates acceptance. It is essential to stress that all other options from combating the Pharaoh Plague and preserving the continuation of human life have been considered and found unworkable. Communicate this fact calmly, but clearly and firmly. Familiarize yourself with data on the catastrophic environmental impact of nuclear engagement versus the Swarm, Addendum B1, and unfeasibility of maintaining life in orbital, lunar, or undersea structures, Addendum C1, C2, C3, so that you can counter candidates' objections in depth. Okay, so yeah, like I said, initially it was like, oh, maybe an arc ship or an arc station, but no, they can't sustain life because, unfortunately, we're a fairly complicated life and we require vastly sophisticated foundation upon which to sustain ourselves. We need a very complicated ecological infrastructure for to live as we do. Wow, Aavak, you're streaming when I went to bed, which was already in the middle of the night, and you're still going strong when I'm awake. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Oh, thank you very much for the gift sub to Mangled Pork and Speak of Love. That's very kind of you. If a candidate asks for time alone to review supplementary information, allow this without hesitation. Be sure to inform security personnel so the candidate can be monitored for attempts at self-harm. Candidates should only be cleared to proceed to presentation 2 if you believe their mental state is sufficiently stable. Note that real-time support will be available via your focus. Security and medical crisis teams are... Oh, okay. So this is just the first part. Oh, that makes sense, actually. You wouldn't want to dump everything on someone. Can't get in there. Captain Okilo. Warfare specialist.
I'm sure you now understand the urgency of why we brought you here, Ms. Okilo.
Captain Okilo, are you trying to thank me for not resisting?
I believe we couldn't negotiate a diplomatic solution.
When it came to my country's lithium, it was always a swarm that would be sent to negotiate. Metallurgic International, US Robot Command. The markings changed, but the robots were the same.
You have had considerable experience in human-robot conflict.
Yes, and I've got the prosthetic limbs to show it. Yet I continue to face this horror, even though the challenge was great. Cyber warfare. I thought Zero Dawn would be a Manhattan project to generate the deactivation codes. With the resources I had, I estimated code breaking to be a hopeless endeavor. I was almost looking forward to being proved wrong.
Unfortunately, your estimation was correct.
As your General Hera said. So then, you did not bring me here to commiserate. What is left?
Good question. Very good question. Right, that's where it wants us to go, and that is absolutely not where I'm going, while there is still lore to be found. Ron Felder, PhD aerospace engineering.
Look, let's cut the mystery. You're building a colony ship. It's obvious. And it's not gonna fly. I mean, literally. Remember the Odyssey? That multinational heap of space junk that's been in graveyard orbit since '57? That went nowhere real slow, and you have to get somewhere real fast. Do you have any idea the immensity of the challenge to prep a new colony ship in time?
To be clear, I'm not a worker on the project.
Do you even understand how few people it could save? The whole generation ship concept is not gonna happen. It's the first thing you'd abandon in favor of embryonics. For that kind of storage, we're talking a lot of bulk, a lot of power, a lot of resources. So even if you do it, even if you build it and point it at Sirius X, there's no room for people on that thing, all right?
If you could try to remain calm.
You people are crazy if you think you're getting off this rock. No one's getting off.
Medical.
Okay. But that also answers some of the other things that we were discussing. The idea of an arc ship. Very difficult to set that kind of thing up. Right, okay, so we came through these tunnels. I imagine they were here largely to allow me to be sneaky by attacking the enemies from stealth. It doesn't look like they go anywhere else. But just to double check and make sure that I'm not missing out on anything at all. No, there's nothing else in here. They're purely there so that I could navigate around, it looks like, and take enemies out as they were alone. But yeah, it's really interesting how, you know, they brought together, in many cases, really obvious minds for a project based on the people. I mean, that person, as they said, a colony ship. Nah, it's not going to work. You wouldn't be able to save enough people to make a diverse enough gene pool to be able to sustain the race, or the species rather. As he mentioned, embryonics. So my working theory at this point is the Earth was rendered completely uninhabitable. The machines were shut down by some sort of automated system that was able to continue working. So a supercomputer set to just crack the code. Doesn't matter if it takes 100 years. And then once the problem was the immediate threat was gone, they started reseeding life on the planet through some extremely complicated means. Because again, like I said, it wouldn't be just a case of, yeah, grow a new batch of humans, because you've got no one to teach them. So you would need some way of preserving that knowledge and also delivering it, which is going to be hard. Just corridor.
CD02 data intact. Initiating playback.
Elizabeth Sobek.
You've heard the bad news, and it's all true. The Pharaoh Plague is devouring the biosphere. Life itself will cease to exist. But does that have to be the end? What if we could give life a future? What if we could build a kind of seed from which, on a dead planet, life could blossom anew? This is the aim, the hope, of Project Zero Dawn. To create a super-intelligent, fully automated terraforming system and bring life back from lifelessness. What would such a system require? At its core, it would need a true AI, fully capable of making the trillions of decisions necessary to reconstitute the biosphere.
That would be
an immortal guardian, devoted to the reflourishing of life. We call it Gaia.
Good name.
Mother Nature as an AI. But that's just the core of the system. She will need to be surrounded and empowered by a comprehensive suite of subordinate functions. Think of them as extensions of Gaia's mind, each dedicated to a specific purpose. Now, these aren't AIs, but make no mistake, each presents an engineering challenge more profound than anything the human species has ever before attempted. Hardware that preserves and then gestates the billions of seeds and embryos from which life will be reborn. The construction of underground facilities to hold it all. And that's just the start. We don't have to build the entire system. The beauty of a fully automated terraforming system is that it can build itself. Now, over the days to come, you'll learn how all these functions, all these pieces that you'll be working on, fit together. How we'll race the clock to execute our harvest initiatives, write the software, build the tech and the facilities. How we'll lock it down and seal it up before the inevitable occurs. But even more important, you'll know how it doesn't end here. How Gaia will generate those deactivation codes General Harris talked about, and build the transmission arrays to broadcast them, shutting down the Pharaoh robots for good. How Gaia will not just build, but imagine any conceivable robot it needs to do its work across centuries.
That's why the machines all look like animals.
Atmosphere and poisoned seas, to the regreening of the Earth from cryopreserved seed stalks, to rewilding the Earth with animal life, and then, when all that is done, how a new generation of human beings, spawned at cradle facilities around the globe, will partake of Apollo, the vast archive of human knowledge and cultural achievement from which they will learn of us.
But we didn't, though.
And most important, how not to repeat our mistakes. It's not an impossible dream. It is within our grasp if we work tirelessly and stop at nothing to achieve it. We can't stop life.
Didn't talk about Hades, though.
But if you will help me, help Gaia, we can give it a future. Join me and help make that future real.
What is Hades' function within this?
So, the whole Earth destroyed, but then remade?
Yes. By a machine. A machine of creation.
Elizabeth did this. For life. For us. But why Hades then? If it was part of Gaia,
Indeed.
how did it end up in the wreckage of a Pharaoh robot? And why does it want to kill me? And Apollo, the archive of knowledge, what happened to that?
I'm as confused as you are. Maybe the answers lie ahead.
Oh, this is getting interesting now. But yeah, those are some big questions. The moment I started seeing all of the names reeling off, is like, yeah, Hades is going to be here because it fits the naming theme. But what was Hades' function? Gatekeeper of the Underworld, but all of the others seemed to more or less agree with their function. The name seemed fitting, but I mean, Hades is killing, but why would you need a subroutine for killing? I mean, and Hades didn't really kill. Interesting. Okay, well, what have we got here? Text log, minimal. Make your selection. You are now in possession of information regarding the true nature and purpose of Project Zero Dawn. Classified far above top secret, as such, we regret that you cannot be allowed to leave this facility. There are 3 options available to you at this point. Please consider each carefully. Trained counselors are standing by to assist you in making your choice. Participation. You will be assigned to a sub-project team based on your area of expertise. You should be aware that the way forward will be difficult and the project's outcome is uncertain. You will be expected to work a minimum of 80 hours per week, and your communications with family members will be strictly limited and monitored in real time. Upon successful completion of the project, you and your immediate family, or 2 persons of your choosing, will be transferred to the Elysium sealed habitat to live out the remainder of your natural lives. So they were going to build. I was thinking how, I mean, you know, in the face of certain destruction of the entire species, you might find a lot of people would be quite altruistic. Depends really on the people, though. But so they did have an ultimate thing, and it wasn't just for you. Your natural life will continue. You won't simply die, in however many months you've got left. We will make it a sealed place where you can live until food runs out or until you die. That makes sense. And the promise of your family's secured, quote-unquote, future. But then, what would happen if... Yeah, because the problem with that, they would have to store an awful lot of food. And how long... What do they mean by natural lives? Just until you die? Until your children die? Indefinite detention. Should you choose to decline participation in Project Zero Dawn, you will be confined indefinitely. You will be given 48 hours to reconsider, after which your decision to refuse participation will be considered irrevocable. Every reasonable effort will be made to make your term of confinement as comfortable as possible, but you will not be permitted to contact with the outside world, and death within 18 months due to the Pharaoh Plague is inevitable. When the Zero Dawn facility is abandoned, detainees who wish not to opt for medical euthanasia will be released. Wow. Okay, so you'll be released out into almost certain doom. Or you can be medically euthanized. Or option 3, medical euthanasia. The information you have just received understandably calls into question the purpose of continuing to live. If you would prefer to end your life at this point, pain-free medical euthanasia is available. A 48-hour waiting period is required, during which time you may instead opt for participation or confinement. Please notify a counsellor when you are ready to make your choice, or if you have further questions. Okay, so yeah, as they say, they can't allow people at this point. They've snatched many people, and some people have come willingly. But at this point, you know something that you cannot possibly be allowed to get out. So you either participate, in which case you'll be allowed to live out your natural life. Now, natural life is important there, because the other one is you'll have 18 months to die to the Pharaoh Plague if you get detained, or be medically euthanized, or just die straight away if you choose that option. But natural life, so the Elysium sealed habitat, maybe that's the only way that they would be able to live out until they die of old age, is option 1. Yeah, you can eventually walk free as robots overrun the facility and devour us all. Yeah, it's pretty much Mango Pork. That's an interesting one. But that yeah, again, the thing of you have no other option. You either join us, or you can stay until we're done, possibly, and then face the robots, or we will let you die if that's your option. It's a heavy choice, my lord. And yes, the thing with Hades is Hades isn't an I know it's very easy to associate any one of the underworld or anything related to that as some sort of evil presence, but it's more a necessary presence. Even in Welsh mythology, you had a king of Annwn. You had someone who presided over the other world, in much the same way you had kings in the living world, and theirs wasn't an evil role. In fact, in many ways, this was quite a benign one. That's a very interesting theory, Gregsy. Perhaps Hades' role was to prevent humans from repeating the mistakes, and maybe they did. I don't know, but that's a really, really interesting one. It's a good idea. Text log, partial corruption, counselor guidelines 2. We've got one. For debriefing after presentation 2, it is vitally important that candidates choose to participate in Project Zero Dawn voluntarily and knowingly, without additional coercion, and without value judgment on the part of the counsellor. Confirm for candidates that they were selected due to their skill sets and accomplishments. Emphasize that their dedicated participation in Zero Dawn will increase the project's chance of success. Frame participation in Zero Dawn as an opportunity to respond actively in the face of an overwhelming threat. Candidates may question the fairness of their selection, validate such objections as normal, even admirable responses, emphasize the value of candidates' expertise to the future, not just for humanity, but terrestrial life as a whole, because of course, the idea would be we've seen rabbits, we've seen foxes, boars, plants. Life itself is not humans. It would include all of the creatures and all of the plants on our planet. Likewise, candidates may balk at the mortality of extending their lifespan and those of loved ones beyond 0 day. Validate their hesitation. Acknowledge that while the reward of Elysium is not fair, it will be earned. If possible, redirect their ethical misgivings towards greater commitment to the project. When candidates challenge the plausibility of Project Zero Dawn, permit them to review Dr. Sobek's presentation as many times as they wish, and allow access to supplemental articles G01 through P20. Allow them to suspend the interview to fully process this documentation. A significant minority of candidates will elect, for medical euthanasia. It is important to receive this decision kindly and without judgment. Advise them of the 48-hour waiting period, during which counsellors will be available to discuss their decision. Emphasize that euthanasia will not occur without repeated consent when the procedure is scheduled to take place. No one will be euthanized against his or her will. Candidates who elect indefinite detention must be informed that they have 48 hours to reverse their decision, after which the decision data corrupted. But, effectively, that's it. That's your time.